You're looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which had a nice little bounce today off the 21. It has come down to its 21 a couple of times now and bounced during this rally. You can see this is a pretty sharp bounce here today, up 460 points or 2.96%, with a little higher than 2% above the average daily volume from the last 50 sessions. But anyway, that's what a bounce looks like, folks. And the NASDAQ could not take out this high from February 2 of 16,080. The high today was 16,061. So it came very close. And it is, within, a whisker of taking out the 16,212, the high from November of 2021. So hang in there, folks. We're going to get there. It's just going to take some time. You might wonder why the Nasdaq is lagging, because the S&P has taken out its old high a long time ago and made another new high today. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average, I believe it closed over 39. Yeah, barely over 39 there. And it took out its high a long time ago. So the Nasdaq is kind of lagging in that respect. But from the most recent rally here from last October, the Nasdaq has appreciated more. So it just depends on which way you want to look at it. But today, money came in off the sidelines, I believe, because of the NVIDIA report. It gives, right now there's a lot of geopolitical fears, and there's an election coming up, and there's a lot of money on the sideline that people are cautious about. And when you see a report like NVIDIA, they start to believe in the AI, the artificial intelligence themed bull market, and want to participate in it. They have a fear of missing out. So money comes off the sidelines and they buy stuff like, I guess NVIDIA will start there. That's one of the Fab Five. This one was up just a mere 110 points today, or 16%. You can see, heavy volume. The report was phenomenal, and they guided, the margins are like 76%. I mean, everything about it was just pristine. This looks like the NASDAQ, where it just comes back to the 21 and then finds support and bounces higher. And if you want to look for strong stocks are trading above their 21, and the leading tops really strong stocks are above their 10, and NVIDIA is both right now as it recaptured its moving averages today, and 15% above the 21 there. So I always look at the 21, and it's above the 21. It's okay with me. If it slices that, then you've got problems, especially in a market like this. They should be above their moving averages. This is Microsoft. We talked yesterday about how it was just hanging on like a cat hanging on to the side of the shelf there, and it definitely pulled itself back up more than 2% today. That one looks good. Meta Platforms, this one was in this little shelf pattern. I've been talking about this one, came down to the 10 and bounced nicely today, almost 4%. So it's things breaking to new highs here. 489 takes out the high of 488. Yeah, Meta looks fantastic. Amazon, this is the one going into the Dow Jones, big deal, right? But it had a nice pop today too, and it pulled back to the 21 and bounce. That's what you want to see, because these pullback days will give you a lot of information about your stock. Like I always say, where are they finding support? Amazon, where's it finding support? Well, now it's finding support at the 21, and it's quite a bit above it, 4.9% above it now. So we talked about Meta, Amazon, Microsoft. Oh, and NVIDIA. Did I miss one? Google. If I don't write them down, I miss them. But Google, up 1%. This one's still kind of floundering here in a buy area, but it's just not doing much. So I'm kind of lukewarm on Google right now. With the Nasdaq having a day like today, this thing should have been up 3 or 4%. But it's floundering. It's having trouble. All right. I did cover NVIDIA and talked about the money flows from that type of a earnings report. AMD moves more on NVIDIA earnings than it does on its own earnings. This one was looking really bad as it sliced its 21, and just it looks like investors are like lukewarm to this stock. It was going nowhere, trading sideways, and today popped nearly 11%, up above 180, and that thing could find its way on our ready list here once again. Yeah, obviously, I like them above the moving average. Say, why don't you buy them below? Because you didn't know that thing was going to pop. I mean, it looks like it's just going to come right down to its 50. So I wait and allow the stocks to prove themselves before jumping the gun and just jumping in there like I say, fools rush in to stocks. Let them prove themselves. Broadcom, this one, had the ascending base and then form this like a shelf pattern and then pull back to the 21 today, pop 6% on the NVIDIA news. I mean, NVIDIA report carried everything today. I mean, even the retail names, it didn't matter. People want in on this market. So definitely looks strong. CLS is one that's just making new high. This is electrical contracting manufacturing. It's not semiconductor per se, but I just wanted to point out once again, leading, I shouldn't say leading stock, a strong stock pulling back to its 21, finding support, and then trading up 12%, making a new high. That's what you want to see. SMCI, I made a video about this one earlier in the week. I posted it on YouTube and on our site at MC Stock Charts. This one is not going to set up in a nice base for you and allow you to buy it. This is going to be a little bit more art than science here. It is a bucking bronco. Sold off 3 days in a row, had an inside day yesterday, but it still was above the 21. And I posted that video just to show you there is a precedent for stocks like this. And you can't just say, oh, it's trading, more than 200% above the 200, you have to sell it. That is stinking thinking. That is not the way to approach a stock like this. This is a rare bird here, and it needs to be looked at a little bit differently. Yeah, I mean, right now it's approaching 1,000. Probably have trouble with that 1,000 number. Last time it hit 1,000, it ran up to what, 1077, then pulled back for those 3 days, and now it's knocking on the door again. So I believe it's going to make a new high. I don't think that's anything earth-shaking. Maybe it was a couple days ago when everybody said this is a climax top. But climax tops are short term, okay, very short term, and this thing I just think is going to make a new high. So I could be wrong, but I wouldn't give up on it. Nice strong move today, up 32%. They announced a convertible note doing 29, I think. So that didn't bother the stock. It's down after hours today, but man, when you're up 32%, you're going to give some back, right? I believe it'll make another run at 1,000 here before too long. Anyway, that's it for the well, I might as well show Marvell. I've had Marvell on our ready list and it just won't go anywhere, right? Now it pops up today off of its 50, right? It pulled back to the 50, had an inside day, and then find support. But really, if you look at the weekly, it's just, right back to its, buy pivot area there. It hasn't really, broken out or made new highs or anything. So Marvell has work to do. Anyway, I'm going to move on. I've got to get to Palo Alto Networks CrowdStrike. The CEO of Palo Alto Networks had a very confusing conference call and said that there was fatigue in cybersecurity spending, which was really kind of confusing people because it's widely thought that companies and the government are increasing spending rapidly for cybersecurity because they can't afford to get hacked. Your business gets hacked, you're done. People can just go to another company. Palo Alto Networks has I think a Palo Alto Networks problem where they're changing their platform and billing people from 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years. They're going to get them all on the same platform so they can control their billings a little better, which will be good longer term, but it's going to take some short-term pain. I believe the sell-off was way overdone. And this stock, this is real good company with real good cash flow, return on equity, no debt. This thing is a cash cow, and I think it's I shouldn't say a bargain because it's pretty expensive stock still, but I'd rather buy it here at 260 than I would at 360. That's all. Okay, he said there was fatigue in cybersecurity spending, and then walked it back and said demand is greater than ever, which I believe that demand is greater than ever. It makes sense. And then he also said that the smaller companies are kind of beating them to the punch with lower pricing. Well, they're the largest cybersecurity company, so any company is smaller than them. So a smaller firm could be a CrowdStrike. which has more endpoint solutions, which I think is more conducive to, the current market. CrowdStrike reports March 5th. I doubt if we're going to hear the same kind of malarkey that we heard from the Palo Alto CEO. And he should just come out and say, we're just changing the platform. Short term, there's a lot of demand, short-term pain, and we're just going to suck it up. But he didn't. He tried to dance around it, and the investors just sold the stock. They sell now and they ask questions later. That's the way they do it. They shoot first and then do the triage later. CrowdStrike pulled back to its 50 for the first time since the breakout from that flat base pattern, and that's usually a gift, and it proved to be true once again today, as it pulled back to like 273 yesterday. And there were some people who told me they got it like 275. So congrats, you're already up like $35. But they report on the March 5th, and we're just going to have to listen to see what they say at their conference call. I think they're going to be singing a different tune, and this could be an inflection point where CrowdStrike takes the mantle of the leading cybersecurity group. It's 75 billion. Palo Alto's about 10 billion more. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Zscaler reports on the 29th. It's a leap year. So I believe that's next Thursday. Yeah, today's the 22nd. Next Thursday. So I'll be interested to hear from Zscaler. They sliced their 50, and now what was once support is now going to be resistance. It has to drive back through the 50, and hopefully it will. But that's it for the Palo Alto. It took me some time to really figure out exactly what was going on with Palo Alto, and it's just a problem unto Palo Alto Networks itself, not the entire cybersecurity space. So, and they'll figure it out. In the longer term, they'll be fine. I'm going to move on to the drug stocks because I like those drug stocks. Eli Lilly, which got downgraded yesterday with the raised price target, that cover your ass type of analyst behavior where they downgrade the stock, and the downgrade worked. It pulled back to its 10, and today bounced. 3% bounce. That's a nice bounce for Eli Lilly. Novo Nordisk trades a little tamer than Lilly, believe it or not. It was up nearly 3%. I believe it made a new high today as well, 124.87. Yeah, barely, a couple pennies. Yeah, nothing wrong with Novo. And then IOVA, this is one that I had bought after hours on Friday. I sold it today because of my 3-day rule. I believe in a short squeeze, you get 3 nice days, and then after that, it starts running out of juice. And so I didn't want to take any chances with this one. This is cancer drug that got approved. Nice 3-day move, but I'm out. It's adios muchachos for me. And then Viking, what did Viking do today? Up 1 something percent, not bad. Made a high there of 38. They have 2 readouts here between now and the end of the first quarter, which is the end of March. So 4 or 5 weeks within that time frame, we're going to hear from these guys and how good their drugs really are. So I'm looking forward to that. OCUL, I have this on my list today. I don't know why, probably because it broke out and made a new high and up 29%. That'll grab anyone's attention. Once again, this is a spec biotech up, below a $10 stock, which I really don't like to highlight or feature, but I don't know. I wrote that down because it made a new high. It's a nice move anyway. Toll Brothers, this one had earnings, broke out, then pulled back, closed at the lows of the session yesterday because of general market weakness, and then bounced another 2% today. Still in a buy area. Toll looks good to me. Lennar, same thing, still within a base, still within a buy point. It's up, maybe $4 from where I'd like to get it, but still actionable for my intents and purposes. Dreamfinder Homes, still trading within a base. I like the 34.48 area there. That's an area of interest, and it's trading right there. So maybe that'll find our way onto our list. They report on March 13th. What other ones? Oh, Builder First Source reported this morning, and that they're not showing growth. They're showing, their sales are great, right? Their sales are great, but year over year, down 5% on sales and up 11% on earnings. So it was rewarded today. $4 was up 2.5%. It was up higher. It was pushing 200 here and then pulled back 194.69. So a nice move from there. And then Power, this is one, I call it Power, it's Quanta Services. They had an earnings report this morning, blasted more than 10% higher. Put this on our ready list after I saw the report. Is a good report. Accelerating sales growth, 19, 26, 31. We like that with more than 20% earnings growth. Very nice for Quanta Services. Nice breakout. I wouldn't call that Axon's here, kind of chasing it. They're above 230. Anyway, I'm going to move on to my elf on the shelf. These guys have a presentation in New York tomorrow morning. I believe it's 10 or 11 o'clock Eastern time. No, wait a minute. I don't know. It's tomorrow morning. I don't think they'll say anything earth-shaking. But anyway, it's nice to see, a move of more than 5%, a $10 move for ELF. The volume has not been real stellar here lately. I mean, this is the move into from the small cap 600 into the mid cap 400, and it sold off with that news, and it's just been creeping along its moving averages, making higher highs and higher lows. I don't mean to be flippant to say I don't really worry about ELF. I don't watch it. Of course, I own it, so I watch it, but as long as they're going to deliver this kind of earnings, the stock will be rewarded eventually. And I think it's going to trade to 200. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I have to get to the shoe stocks. I'm not going to do Crocs today, but Deckers made that high after earnings of 903, pulled back to the 10, and now it's getting ready to surf the 10 again. What was impressive about Deckers, obviously the Uggs are going to sell great at Christmas quarter, but the Hokas were, it's like 450 million in Hoka sales. And I think that bodes well for On Holdings, which reports on March 12th. This one's still forming a base, and this one is going to show up on our ready list here pretty soon, along with Celsius, which I like the way, I don't really like the way this one is trading. I'd like to see it blast higher, but it's taking its time, finding support at moving average. You can see when the index was weak, it found support at the 10, popped 4% today. So doing nothing wrong, still actionable, I believe, and I have it on my ready list. Anyway, a couple of stronger names in the retail space is Ralph Lauren. This guy. Ralph Lauren, man, what got into you, buddy? Ralph Lauren's on steroids. You can see this nice cup with handle pattern. This thing just blasted higher. You think it's going to pull back after an 18% move? No. Last week it was up more than 3%, and this week it's up more than 3%. So Ralph Lauren he's on a roll, this guy. Incredible strength for Ralph Lauren. Wingstop, they reported yesterday, I believe, pulled back. That was a gift back to the 10 on general market weakness, up nearly 8% today, $23. Wingstop, surfing its moving averages. That's your Kelly Slater stock right there, the famous surfer. And here's Laird Hamilton. We're surfing the 21 and the 10, whatever moving average you want. This thing made another new high today. Thank you very much. I was teasing because the market was so weak. Did it make a new high today? I think it did. Yeah. The market was so weak the last few sessions that even Abercrombie and Fitch was down. That is definitely a sign the market is weak. That thing can't go down. There's got to be a law. American Eagle, another one making a new high. You can see the shelf here. And if you want to even become more technical, you could just say that's a little, cup with a handle on the pullback, and now we move higher. So just to pull back to moving averages in lighter volume. So, people write books about stuff like that, but pretty simple concept. And that's it for the retail. I got to get on to my least favorite subject. And my next two areas are my least two. One's insurance. They're raising rates, and that's why their stocks are going up. They're inflationary, but this is Skyward Specialty, up 5%. What can you say? This thing's been a monster. Gallagher, another one that's on our ready list, still forming the right side of the base, trading kind of tight. Today it was up nearly 2%. And then CB Hannigan's, this one just keeps making new highs. Yeah, well, property, title, whatever, your insurance is going higher if you didn't notice. And bro, my favorite ticker symbol, bro. That's the only reason why I cover insurance, because of my bro. This one's starting to, it broke out from this base. I like, bases, and now that it's broke out from the base, it's just surfing its moving averages. So it's not going to give you a real easy chance to get in for that one. That's bro. And my other least favorite sector is the Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan bank sector. But you got to acknowledge it. This is strength here on the daily chart. Nice base pattern now, breaking out, just making new highs. So congrats to Jamie Dimon and the longs at JP Morgan. And then we have Jefferies Financial, making new highs, I believe, today. You got to hand it to the banks. The financials are doing well. It's not an area that I really like to play in, but when Wells Fargo's making new highs, yeah, the financials are strong. All right, that's enough of that. I want to talk a little bit about some of the oldies but goodies. General Electric. Good old GE making new highs today. I mean, I can remember this stock from way back when I was a kid. This has been a stalwart forever and ever. Fell on hard times with the CEO that's not to be mentioned because he caused some of my friends to work an extra 10 years. But the new CEO has got it, going on, and this stock is just trending higher. It's a thing of beauty. Okay, we can discuss this CEO, Michael Dell. He's in the hardware group. This is one of the top groups, the top group. Computer hardware, SMCI has something to do with that, but Dell making new highs today and showing a lot of strength. You can see during the pullback here, it did slices 21, didn't pull back to the 50, but it rallied right back through those moving averages, and that's what you want to see out of leading stock. Of course, they're going to show some weakness. They're going to pull back, but you want to find out where they're going to be supported. And now Dell's 5% above that rising 21. So Dell looks fantastic. Booking the old Priceline stock, the William Shatner stock. This one made a new high today. Must have had earnings after the bell. Oh, wow. It's down 195 bucks. Okay, I've got to get to these things here. And then Sherwin-Williams, I'm going to get to those in a minute. Broke out of a base here. So the old paint store, Sherwin-Williams, Steady Eddie. You look at it on the weekly or even the monthly. I mean, yeah, pays a decent dividend. And yeah, just lower left to upper right. Not really a growth stock, but chemical paints, they go up over time. Sherwin-Williams goes up over time. Anyway, I've got to get to the after hours. I didn't have time to really go through any of these reports. I'll have more information in the morning. Square looks pretty good though, up 10% after hours. I have no idea why. They reported earnings, and there's a good response to them after hours. That's all I know. So I'll have to look more into Square. MELI reported this afternoon, I believe, down 7%. Oops, that's not a good sign. It did make a new high, going into the session. It was 1825 today, and then closed near the highs. And oops, got a little 7% haircut after hours. We'll see what happens. CVNA, I did see where this one was rallying. Yeah, 20%. This has a heavy short interest. And still, after all this time, it still has a heavy short interest. Pulled back to the 50, yesterday. It's like a little pullback going into earnings and then blasting more than 20% higher. This thing's gone up a couple percent since I flipped it here. So CVNA is on fire. This is a foreign bank and it's down 5%. It's been doing really well. I'll have more information on this one tomorrow, but Booking is the one that I had earlier, and it's down 5% after hours. So I don't know what they said in the report. I have no idea. But anyway, that's it for me, except for I lied. I have one more thing. If your stock was down today, you got to really look at it. This is Oscar, with a move like we had today. This one just pulled back to the 10. I like this stock because it's in the insurance group, and the insurance have been doing well. This is more health insurance, but just pulling back to the 10, something that I'm watching because your stock really should have been up today, pretty decently. This is in phase, down 2%. So in the honor of the great Steve Jobs, I'm going through all the stocks you should probably get rid of. I was looking at a Monday. You know, this thing was down today, which confounds me. You know, Jensen mentioned a bunch of names of stocks. I guess Monday wasn't one of them. Chevron, another stock which was lower today, which I don't mind. The you know, the oil and gas stocks being down, that's okay with me. Adobe, you would think with you know, AI and NVIDIA's report, but this thing's down to its 200. They report on the 14th. So if you own some of these stocks, you know, you got to really, you know, look, and you know, on a day like today, you know, stocks should be higher, but you don't want to, you know, judge your stocks on one day. You know, give it to the end of the week and reassess this weekend. This is AEHR. This is in a terrible, you know, downtrend. You know, they have minuscule sales, you know, 20 million a quarter, you know, so they do like 100 million in a year with 460, you know, so it's 4 times sales, but you know, just in a complete downtrend, down 5% on a day like today. I don't know if there was news or not. But anyway, just wanted to point that out. If your stock was down like that, that's a pretty bad sign. So in the honor of the great Steve Jobs, I just did a little bit of reconnaissance on some of the damage done on some of these stocks here, but most of them should have followed suit with NVIDIA, which was your ringleader, up another $5 after hours. Yeah, this one carried the day. Jensen talked about, it's funny because Jensen talked about a $1 trillion total addressable market for the, and maybe even more for the artificial intelligence. And, you know, Lisa Su a couple weeks ago said 400 billion, and people thought she was crazy. Like, that's way too big of a number. They don't trust Lisa Su. But when Jensen says it, oh, yeah, sure, right on, bro. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm sure Lisa took notice of that. And maybe next time when they report, she'll give a little more gaudy figure, and maybe her figure wasn't big enough. But Jensen said 1 trillion, and he did mention Oracle and ServiceNow and Dropbox and Box, and he mentioned quite a few software names that he thought were just you know, gold mines. That was his word for it. So I'll have to take his word for it. NVIDIA carries a day with their earnings. I mean, when you see 1.9 trillion market cap stock with triple digit sales and earnings growth, they reported 22 billion and guided to 25 billion. But look at these margins, man, 64, 70, 74, just insane. This is an incredible report. I believe NVIDIA is going higher. You might think I'm crazy, but there's a lot of momentum in this name. And anyway, at mcstockcharts.com, tomorrow's a new day. We never give up.